What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Brave X's video, and it seems there's a surprise in this banner because actually Rubicante is Brave Shift and not SLB. So there's one SLB, one Brave Shift unit, which is okay, I guess, if they have to exist. So Rubicante has some positives, has some negatives, just as every other unit, but let's just see what that's like. So both sides now have 200% magic true duo, which is pretty good. 100% human killer, 150% reaper killer, 600% cap, and his cooldown on both sides, of course, as I put it here, 40% fire amp, 300% magic, 36 LB fill, and also 100 times mod boost to LB. But I don't think the LB part is really useful, but hey, it is what it is. Base form has a 40 times mod boost to non-LB stuff, and that's all I found because his base form is always trash, and I said that in my news video. His base form is really bad. He has nothing going on really. So the Brave Shift is where it's at, and so let's get into that. Triple and quad cast permanently, 72 times mod CWA base, and then a 250 times mod boost passive for CWA and the flare. So flare is now, with the mod boost, of course, 450 times mod boost, fire magic one hit with 130% fire and water imperil. So if this comes to global, I don't know, you know how they are, you'll get a free 130% imperil for fire and water. But flare isn't known by everybody, so maybe it's not as interesting, but still pretty good. 450 times mod, pretty strong. You could quadcast that as you could be your finisher, and you could quadcast this, or maybe you could like weave it into a chain, like do 3 times CWA and then flare at the end, or do flare do the flare at the beginning and CWA. I'm not sure how fast flare is, so because I've never really used it. So I mean, I might have used it like 2 years ago, so I don't know. 150% LB damage passive, and his LB is 135% fire imperil, 200% low burst damage buff, 130 times fire magic damage to all enemies, and also he has a passive that absorbs fire. So that LB really isn't that special, but at least it's decent. 135% fire imperil, pretty decent. So another situation where the base form is pretty bad, but the base Brave Shift form is where you would want to be permanently, but you can't be because he doesn't have, I forgot to mention, he doesn't have infinite turns. He only has 4 turns in this form, and you'd like to stay in this Brave Shift form, but you can't. So yeah, unfortunately that is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Rubicante, it would have been 8.5 if he had permanent turns, but he does not. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10 because his base form is just so bad that it drags down his score that much. So you guys, just so you guys understand, he is that bad in his base form. He has really almost nothing going on for him. He basically becomes like Super Rubicante in his Brave Shift form. He's really strong, but only for 4 turns. Anyways, moving on to Edge. So my prediction was almost right, to where his EX, his SLB would be pretty strong. But I didn't think it was going to be like this. I guess they're still not ready to break the barrier with a super strong break just yet, but it's still pretty good. So his LB is just his base LB that you can use at any time. 87% defense spirit break, pretty decent. 140% lightning imperil, which is really good, quite good. Physical magical, 140% insect killer for all allies, good. It lasts for more than 1 turn, by the way, which is pretty good. And 135%. Or it's 135 times lightning damage 1 hit, which is pretty bad. But you would be using it for those other things in there. His SLB is 87% full break, 145% lightning imperil, 160% insect kill for all allies, and also a 27 hit 230 times lightning damage, which is really strong. Obviously, he has a 600% cap, 40% physical evasion, 50% targeting chance, 150% Reaper, and 200% Insect Killer passive. 3 grandest abilities with a lot of other things that I have on them, but overall, 50 times mod boost for basically permanently, as long as he's alive, because he only gets to use this once. So if he dies, then you lose all those mod buffs. So Overall, it's a 218 times fire lightning chain. Fire is bolting strike, lightning is AoE. He has a water chain, but it's kind of weak. It's not as strong. 88% defense is pure break on one of the grandest as well, so that's pretty good, I guess. Pretty good. I mean, it had strong chaining on the ground and in his little SLB. It's gonna hit some cons here, which I pointed out. 50% magic true dueled for absolutely no reason. He has no magic in his kit, and for some reason also his katana has magic on it for no reason whatsoever. I know probably in the game he probably has magic or something, but why? If you're not going to give him anything to do with that, then why? Only 75% low burst damage passive, that's pretty bad. He also, I forgot to mention, he only has 50% true to wield. So only so you have really bad things to work with. You got to build him up to a 200% true to wield by only 50%, so you need 150% true to wield. You need a lot more low burst damage. So we're gonna fit that all in with the killers and everything. It's gonna be hard to make him a damage dealer. It's gonna be very hard to make him a chainer and damage dealer, but I mean his chaining is very strong, so you could try. And just as I predicted, you need EX3 in order to keep up his 87% full break. His SLB, because it lasts for 3 turns, of course. Of course. And his non-Grandness or SLB breaks are pretty low. Like 80% and 75%, so can't really rely on those too much against in really harder fights. Maybe you could if you have good mitigation and stuff, but I called the EX3 thing, of course, that they want you to go EX3. I don't think it's worth it going EX. I don't think it's worth. I can just see how hard it's going to be to build him. He can be your provoker, like auto provoker, stuff like that, but it's going to be kind of hard to build him as a chainer. They didn't give him enough. Like if they gave him 150% true to wield, if they gave him 150% low burst damage, now we're talking he doesn't have to go as far, but he has to go quite far, guys. And his vision card allows him to have 100% low burst damage at level 10, which would help a little bit if you can get it. But that's about it. I mean, you still need to go 150% 150% true to wield for that, so there are sacrifices that have to be made for that. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 9 out of 10 just because he has a lot of utility and a lot of strength and chaining. He could be a chainer, you could be your provoker chainer, similar to Lena, I suppose. Very similar to Lena. So let me know what you guys think about these units. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe if you're new around here, because I do reviews like this all the time. I think that my reviews look a lot nicer than they used to, with how I'm labeling things. I'm starting to like this kind of way how I'm doing it, with the bullet points and the highlighting and things like that, to make sure you guys can look at it a little easier. Give me some feedback in the comment section down below, and hope to see you in the very next one. Peace.